So, all right, you guys, good morning. We're excited to bring this Zoom call to all of our groups. So this is a really kind of a bringing together for all of you. So we've got two groups that are doing Shift Shop. One, you guys just are rocking, finishing week 2. And then we have a group that's going to start on Monday. So we're super proud of you guys for, all the work that you're doing. And then welcome to the summer boot camp. That is a mixed group, so really rocking. I think we've got everything from hammer and chisel to 21-day fix. I think a couple of people in there with Shift Shop. And welcome to I Choose Fit Boot Camp and to everybody from Team Balanced and Faithful. So we're just excited to have you guys here, and we want to try to do this pretty regularly, maybe every couple of weeks, or we'll see if it kind of works out to do it weekly, but just to give you guys a time to be able to connect with us, to ask questions, to let us know how things are going for you, and to give you guys just some training that I think will really help you, especially in fostering the right mindset and being able to take action to make this a lifestyle. Because, last week I posted a video, and for those who are new, you guys will see this week because it's something I think is critical for everyone as we get started in our journey. But that emotional cycle of change, you can see you now, Jen. And that emotional cycle of change tells us to go back to that comfort zone, right? To go back to where we're comfortable, to go back to where we were because of fears or insecurities or things that are holding us back, or because it seems easier at the moment, right? And we're very much living in a world of instant gratification and to just do what feels good now. So, but as that changes, right, as we make those changes and we push through those struggle points, like we will grow, we will get better, and your confidence will grow in everything that you do. So one of the key ingredients to this is to stay plugged in. During the hard times, it's easy to disconnect or to feel like you're not worthy to post or you're not doing as well as somebody else. Stop that comparison game. Be here for yourself. Go through the struggle, make it through that, celebrate the victories, and just choose to be here long term. That's really why I became a coach. It just was the ultimate accountability to me to wear that title, to put myself in a position where long term I was going to be plugged into a community of people that were helping and supporting me. Like I needed that. I just needed that in my life, to when life happens and sometimes struggles come up, to say, you know what, you can go back to this. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. We're all going to have, I was listening to a call yesterday. I'm going to pull this quote up while I talk to you for a second because I just really loved it. And this was, she's actually a therapist, and she does a lot of work with people on mindset training as well. But she said, it's in life's disappointments and challenges that we're living, right? And I really liked that. It really resonated with me because that is when we're living, because we have to learn how to overcome those things. We learn and we grow and we get stronger through the challenges that we overcome and the victories that we choose. And what I have loved about this community and about fostering and building my mindset and working on my personal growth is that I do go into challenges now, and instead of them defeating me and waiting for them to pass, I go into it with the mindset to say, what's the lesson here, or what's the victory that I can come out of this with? And that's huge, right? To just have that perspective. And I'm just so thankful for that. And so thankful that I've gotten that through working on myself and working on this journey too. So today, Jen and I want to give you something that I think is a very key foundation, and that is to love yourself more. You guys, especially as women and moms and people who have everybody else to take care of, we tend to always put ourselves last. And a lot of times when the last thing on your to-do list is the thing that doesn't get done, right? So instead of doing that, we want to foster and develop this mindset of taking care of yourself first, loving yourself through this, so that that as you do that, right, it's just like that additive of the oxygen mask on the airplane, right? as you put that, you've got to put that oxygen mask on first so you're equipped to help everybody else to do a little bit more. So we're going to give you 5 tips this morning to help you to do that. And as we do that, for those of you guys who are on the Zoom, if you will, I want you to type into the chat, victories from this week. What are some victories that you've seen? And if you're on your phone, then I want you to send me a quick text. So write down my phone number here real quick, 801-706-4176. Again, I'll give it to you one more time, 801-706-4176, and text me what those are. We want to spend a little bit of time to just celebrate the victories that you guys have had, whether that's about weight loss or, in particular non-skill victories, or that you got your workout in each day this week, or something that you overcame. Let's do that and make sure we spend a little bit of time on these calls, because that is the key. That's the important thing of why we're here, is we're celebrating this win over life. So I'm going to pass it over to Jen, and she's going to get started in our first tip of giving yourself a little bit more love. Jen, you got the floor.
I think Tina's so right. I think as we juggle all these hats that we wear in our lives, we become last place. And I know I see it in my life, and it's been kind of a cycle, but I know when I focus on doing these 5 things, I feel better about myself, but I feel better about what I can provide in all these different roles. So the first tip we have is to just take 30 minutes for yourself. Every day, once a week, once a month, and take 30 minutes to do something that you enjoy, that isn't centered around we all enjoy spending time with our kids, right? But do something just for you. So think about the things that you would love to do, but you just don't feel like you have the time to do. For me, I love a manicure, and trying to schedule it and find sitters for the kids, because Lord knows I'm not taking them with me. I just don't make it happen. And so finding 30 minutes, once every couple weeks, just to sit down at home and do it, makes me feel better about myself, and it lets me focus on time for me. Okay, the other idea, or the thing that I like to do, it's my exercise. That 30 to 45 minutes every morning is my saving grace. And sometimes the girls are up and sometimes they're in bed, but we've come to a point where they know that mommy is pretty much off limits for these 30 minutes. And if I stick to that, then they know that we can move forward with our day with a happier, less stressed mom. Okay, so I want you to just think about the things you can do. Exercise. Maybe it's sitting down to drink an actual hot cup of coffee, right? Or sit down and read a book for pleasure and enjoyment, not anything work related or on parenting or anything like that, just something you enjoy. Maybe it's just talking to a friend you haven't talked to in a while. Something that just lets you clear your mind from all of the constant running to-do list that we have in our lives, and just focus on you for just 30 minutes. Okay, I know that we say we're going to do it, and then, like Tina says, the list grows and we push ourselves to the end. So I want to encourage everybody to find that 30 minutes this weekend, and if you would share back in the tracker app what you did for your 30 minutes for yourself, I think that would be a really good team building and motivating activity for us to do.
Awesome. So, and I asked in the chat, what are some things that you want to do for yourself, but you never that you don't do enough things that you like. So type those ideas in, or again, you can text them to me and we'll talk about them here, 801-706-4176. But you guys, Jen's so right. It's so important. So that's a great opportunity for us as a team. 30 minutes. We can find that in the next 2 days for ourselves too. All right, I'm going to talk about number 2. So living in an attitude of gratitude. You guys, I love the quote that says, it's not happy people that are grateful. It's grateful people that are happy. I always have to remember how that goes. But It is. It's grateful people are happy. As we focus, gratitude allows us to bring positivity into our life, right? Because the things that we're grateful for help us to know in the moment, despite our circumstances, despite our challenges, like what is good, what can be that center for us. So my tip to you is be intentional with being grateful every single day. I like to do that in the morning. In the morning each day as I'm journaling as part of my morning routine, I'll write down 3 things that I'm grateful for that day. And even at night, right, to do it again at night and think of 3 things that you're grateful for that night. Like just that having that intention to be thoughtful about what things that I have in my life that day that are good, that are helpful, even if it's small things like, some days it's the sprinkler system. I'm so glad I have a sprinkler system so I don't have to spend all of that time watering things by hand because I feel so stretched anyway, right? Like just little things like that we don't tend to think about. When I'm trying to be intentional, I think on those things and it helps me to really be happier. So do that as part, if you're keeping a journal with your food or, things that if you have a journal, like make sure that you're intentional each day to write down 3 things that you're grateful for. If you haven't done that and this is something new for you, you can do it anyway. Like there's a lot of apps that you can get. I think there's one called the 5-Minute Gratitude Journal. That's a really good one that you can get an app or you can do this electronically or, get a notebook. But start that practice of writing down 3 things each day that you're grateful for. And you'll start to see a shift in that happiness for yourself too.
Okay, so tip number 3 is exercise. And I think that, everybody here can relate to this, that one of the, in my opinion, best ways and easiest ways to love on yourself is to exercise, whether that's a walk or a run or one of our programs from the on-demand system. It's just the act of getting out and getting that movement in your day that creates a ripple effect throughout our day. And then as we continue the practice, it creates momentum throughout our week and our month. So you guys, I know that you've all experienced this because you're all awesome active challengers. But if you just think about the way you feel when you're done with that 30 minutes or when you're done with that walk, that positive energy and the endorphins, and you feel like you have really accomplished something and that you can be proud of. So that's something that I like to bottle up. And that's why I like to do it first thing in the morning, because that high feeling really does carry me through the day and makes me proud of what I'm doing for myself. And I think that it's so easy to give compliments to everybody else in our life that we fail to recognize what we're achieving for ourselves. And so, as you go through your exercise today and this weekend and next week, recognize the hard work you guys are doing and all of the benefits you're gaining from this outside of the scale, outside of just completing the calendar. Really recognize what it's doing for your life and for yourself and how it's impacting your relationships with everybody around you.
Right. And then number 4 kind of tags right along into that, you guys. And we're going to talk a little bit about food. Number 4, make good food choices. Make good nutrition a priority in your life. This is hard. You guys, I've been a coach for over 3 years, and some days I'm thinking, what the heck am I doing? Because there's still so much that I struggle with in this, right? And I try to not think of it that way, not think of it as struggles or things that I shouldn't have in my life, but how I can be most mindful to allow good choices to help support the goals that I have, right? And I think that is the big key. Some of you guys, this is your first program that you've worked on. Some of you haven't even really started. Some of you are into this, but then kind of getting into, again, that part where it's getting hard, right? And you kind of want to go back to the way things were, or maybe you're dealing with stressful situations and it's tough to stick with your better food choices. the one thing that I think that I see people struggle with the most is we've been taught to have this diet mentality, first of all, right? That, we're going to do this for a certain period of time. We're going to give up everything, or, really decrease our calories, and it defeats us, right? Because you're focused so much on depriving yourself, on what you're eliminating. So I really want you to let that go and to really focus on fostering a mindset of adding in, right? Don't worry about what you need to eliminate as much as what you need to be adding in, right? So what is that for you? For me, one of the big things was just water. I would wake up with headaches every morning. I knew I was dehydrated. I could tell I wasn't just giving my body enough. So when I started this journey of making that decision to add better nutrition to my life, like the easiest thing and one of the biggest victories for me was just adding in water. So even before changing anything else, just making that one small shift, like helped me to be happier, and it gave me more motivation to do more things. So I want you to focus on what you can add in. Is it a snack? Maybe it's almonds and an apple for a snack instead of grabbing a candy bar, right? Just focus on those one small change at a time and focus on what you're adding in. And I promise you, as you do that, because of how you feel, it will lead you down the path to be adding in other things too. And that will just happen more naturally. Get away from that mindset that everything has to happen all at once, that you have to lose all this weight all at once, that you have to make all these sweeping changes. It's really tough and stressful. And you need to keep this, like we talked about in our last Zoom call, one of those things you need to have, one of your S's of success is sane, right? You've got to keep sane through this. So make sure as you work on your nutrition to know that, however many years that you've had on this earth, almost 39 for me, like that's a lot of habit that needs to be changed. And if it took me that long to create all of this, I shouldn't expect myself by next week to have it all figured out either. So I want you to write down as an action item for this, what is one thing that you can add in that will help support you this week as you're thinking about your nutrition and your food.
And I just tack onto that as I make these small changes for myself and gain strength in my consistency, I see that my girls are starting to follow along a little bit more. And this is a little bit off color maybe, but it's the water thing. I started out, when I started all of this, drinking at least one Pepsi, sometimes two. And I'm not talking a can, I'm talking the 20-ounce bottle every day just to get through the work week. And it was the addiction, right? So I started and I didn't go cold turkey. I cut out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I allowed myself to have Monday, Friday. And then I transitioned to, it was just a Friday treat. And it's been over a year now since I've had a Pepsi, but through all of this, I focused on adding more water. And so my girls, I have one that would drink a gallon of milk, like within 2 days, and one that will only drink chocolate milk or juice. And so I would say starting this spring, they started noticing that I was adding fruit and cucumbers and all this fun stuff to my water. So they started making their own concoctions. And then one day my 4-year-old asked, Mom, why do you just drink water? I said, well, what's really cool, Laura? I said, it makes me feel better. I said, but if you drink a lot of water when you pee, it's not yellow. And so now that's like her daily goal. She comes home from school and she's so excited. She says, Mom, guess what? Hey, but the milk is great, right? But the kid would not drink water. And now, because I've created that health habit for myself and talked about it conversationally without lecturing or feeling like I'm taking, her beverage of choice away from her, she has started to want to drink more water because, that's her goal. But I just think that, like Tina said, almost 35 years for me of not great habits is a lot to undo. So anything I can do to help my girls now to create better habits nutritionally, it helps me feel like it's all worth it and like I'm making an impact. And I know that everybody, there's somebody in our lives that we can impact that way. But tip number 5, sorry, kind of got off on a tangent, is to study. So there's more to this than just the physical and the exercise and the workout and taking those 30 minutes, but really it's focusing on our mindset. And this has been the biggest change and the biggest challenge for me. I wouldn't say that I was always a Debbie Downer. I always called myself realistic. And so it's, if there's a possibility of something not positive will happen, that's what I tended to focus on. And I found myself getting dragged down into that hole, and it was a spiral. So for me, the mental part of this journey has been huge, and it is something I still struggle with, and it's something that I work on, every day too. But if we feel negative and down on ourselves, it leaks into all areas of our life. And so when I'm having a bad day and I'm focused on that negative, I notice that my kids are crabbier and they're whinier and they don't listen as well. And because you guys, it's the vibe we put off that comes back at us, right? And so one of the biggest things for me was swallowing my pride and diving into personal development. You call it personal development, you can call it self-help, you can call it mental fitness, whatever you want to call it, but really diving into that and letting it change my mindset. And the starting point for me was a podcast that Shaun T was doing when I first started this journey, and it was called Trust and Believe. And you guys, that is what pulled me out of that deep, dark funk, was listening to that podcast 30 minutes every morning while I got ready for work, and not just hearing it, but listening to it. And then, the more I created that habit, the more I found that little snippets of what he was saying would start to seep into my day. And so when I felt frustrated, it was, trust and believe, you will get through this. And so I would encourage you that, whatever you feel like you're struggling with right now, do a little self-evaluation and check your mindset, because it's a powerful thing. I know if you follow me, I know I've posted it before, but our mind only believes what we tell it. And so we need to really focus on feeding it positivity and positive affirmations and having a go-getter attitude. So we will share later today in the Tracker app some different ideas for personal development. But you guys, I love to read, but forcing myself to take that 20 minutes of inactivity and sit down and read and have no distractions and really focus, I have a really hard time with that. So podcasts have been my go-to, and they're so easy. You have a podcast app on your phone, and you can search for, there's a podcast on literally every topic, but we'll give you some ideas. If there's something that you want to work on mentally, shoot us a message, and we'll get you some ideas targeted specifically for that too. But I think you'll find that if you take just a few minutes every day and dial into that when maybe your hands are busy but your mind isn't, you'll start to see the positive impact it can have as you incorporate all of these tips into your life.
Yeah, and audiobook too. A lot of times I would love to spend more time reading as well, but I can't, but I want that in my mind. So I use Audible, where you can get you can try it free for 30 days, and then you can get a monthly subscription where I think it's $15 a month, but you get a book every month as well, and then you can get additional ones if you want to. So it's great. I love the summer, especially. I miss it in the winters because I'll go out on a long bike ride or training, and I can plug in for a couple hours into this book and just really absorb it. I always tell people my splits are really crappy a lot of times because I do like to just jot down those aha moments. I think it's important to have that, and so I'll just always stop on the side of the road, writing something into my phone to remember or transfer to my notes and stuff. But it's just, it makes such a big mindset shift to have that, right? To understand, to have that knowledge, like knowledge is power, whether it's, about your nutrition and your fitness, or, about confidence, or leadership, or how to do things, like, you will be willing to do more, to take better action as you understand the whys, as you have grown. And especially with nutrition, like, I just loved learning so much about, different styles of eating and plans and things. So what best serves my body? It's been fun. It's made it fun. It's not a chore anymore to eat healthy, because, I've found my interest in it. I've found the things that serve me well and that help me to feel my best. So we're going to post this recording in the group, and on it, I'm going to have a question for you to answer, for everyone to answer. And I want you to post a picture today when we post this broadcast in there, a picture of you that makes you feel good, and 5 things that you love about yourself, right? And I know you might be cringing inside. I know when I first went through an exercise like this, I was like, 5 things, right? Like, could I do 1 maybe? And that would be hard. We don't give ourselves enough credit. We're so critical of ourselves. And I want you guys to start breaking that habit. And however small those things are, I want you to really do this today for yourself. Find that picture of yourself that makes you feel good, and comment with those 5 things that you love about yourself. Write them down right now for you. That's who it's most important for, is to do this for. And start that journey of love, of self-acceptance, of gaining that confidence and that belief that you're worth this time, that your growth and happiness are just as important as everything and everyone else around you that you do. So with that, I'm going to unmute everybody, and we want to just kind of leave a couple of minutes for questions. So tell us, like, what's going on with your program right now? Like, how are you feeling? Like, is there areas that you're struggling that we can support you, or questions that you have that we can best help you with as well? So I've unmuted everybody. So if you guys want to chime in, again, whether you're on the phone or on video, like, share with us if you have anything for us this morning.
I'll go since nobody else is.
Thanks, Heather.
With food this week. By taking out and going down a carb, I kind of went the other way and just said, well, I'll just eat it, because I wasn't seeing some results. And so I really have to bring my mindset back into where I need to be. And so last week was not great, but I have to learn from that and move forward and not beat myself up over it. So that was my struggle this week. I continue to do the workouts, but I can't outwork bad nutrition. So I just got to keep that in my mind.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I read your victory for the week. Just, again, that mindset piece is so key, because I do that to myself all the time. I'm like, well, why does it matter? I'll just eat this. And then if I eat that, I'll eat this too and have this. And it's like, man, we don't, if we have a flat tire, we don't have to slash those other 3 tires, we don't need to do that to ourselves. So having strength through that is a huge victory. Great job, Heather.
Diane, do you have anything?
Oh, I guess my victory for the week was just sticking to my workouts every day in the Shakeology. And I could definitely do better on my nutrition. That's a struggle all the time. So
I hear you there. I think it's probably the most common struggle for everybody.
For everyone, for sure. So Diane, one thing that I tried to really get good at encouraging our challengers to do is, what was their biggest struggle this week, and what's one thing that you can do this week to help you progress with that too. So I don't know if you've thought about that, or if you have an answer you want to share with the group, or, if you just want to kind of think about that. But, knowing kind of what that area that you want to improve, like, what's one small thing you can do this week to go into creating something that makes you feel like a win with that?
So I know that when I journal my food and keep track, that for me is helpful, because then I'm not mindless eating, just eating out of habit. If I have to write it down, then I'm more accountable. So making that a priority this next week would be helpful for me.
Awesome. That's it's such a key thing. and I hate journaling my food, I'll be honest. So one thing that I do is I have my meal plan and I have it well spelled out. And one of my goals is to not have to write anything additional on that meal plan. So, because I know if I'm going to splurge in addition to what's on there or I change it, I need to write it down and change it. So that has helped me over the last few weeks, kind of changing that mentality to say it is important. I know it's important. I need to do it. But finding a way that kind of works for me to kind of challenge me and motivates me in a positive way to not make those changes. So, Shirley, do you want to share any victories from the week? Because I know you've had them. Here she is, Heather.
Hi, Kennedy.
Well, my biggest victory has been just to see what is happening to my body, because I've had a lot of accidents and like broken bones or accident that would harm my body. And as the years have gone on, I've gotten worse and worse, no matter how hard I tried. And this program has been turning things around in such amazing ways that I'm just so impressed. And as far as a goal for next week, I think, Tina, your idea of drinking more water would be a good one for me.
Awesome. That's great.
That's great, Shirley.
Shirley, will you tell them just a couple of strength victories that you've had? Because I do think like what you've done is huge, and it's so motivating to me and inspiring that you've done that. And by the way, Shirley's 69 years old. Like every morning I wake up and if I feel like I don't want to do this workout, like she's on my mind. And I am thinking about her and her strength through this too.
Well, it's hard, but what I can only do the modifier, but at the same time, as like 2 years ago, I broke my ankle, and then even though I am very active all the time, my legs started giving out as I was going downstairs, and I'd have to hold on for dear life whenever I was going on the stairs, and I live in a tri-level house. And so, but it's amazing because the activities and exercises they have us do, I am going back and forth between different ones so fast that I can do 10 times more than I would have ever imagined I could do. And my legs are getting stronger. I'm not feeling as though I'm going to fall every time I walk on the stairs anymore. And that is absolutely awesome and going to help me the rest of my life.
So proud. Like that's, you guys, like we focus a lot on results and speaking of like number on the scale and things like that, but like that's the true victory, right? Like that's living better. That's benefits that we want to go for. And I hope as you guys like really, I hope you really take inventory of those non-scale victories, because that's living. That's why we do this. That's why we want this healthier lifestyle to, you know, run after these kids and to be able to function better and to have less pain and to just be happier with what we do. So congratulations, all of you guys. I'm so proud of you and in making progress. Like sometimes we get caught up in what we need to improve, that, you know, we've got to give ourselves a timeout and think, you know, where was I? Like, Diane, where were you 6 months ago, a year ago? Heather, you know, what was it like 2 months ago where you wouldn't have had that mindset to bring yourself back to say, you know what, tomorrow's a good day and I'm going to have a great day. Like, that's huge, so huge. And I love that. It's my favorite part as a coach. It's my favorite part, you know, in having this here in my life is just recognizing how far we've come. And life's a journey. We always have something else we can move forward to, but that's exciting to always know that there's a victory ahead. So congratulations, you guys. Jen, any closing thoughts?
No, I just think, you know, I am so impressed with the involvement of everybody in the group. And I think that as you start, Shirley, what week are you on? Week 3?
Go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, next week is going to be week 3.
Okay, so we're all kind of in the same spot then. I would just encourage you to really stick with it, because like Tina said, you know, the gains that we're seeing with our overall health are so worth it. And I would also encourage you to start thinking about what's next, because this isn't something where we complete these 21 days and we are good to go for the next 30 years. Okay, we have to always be thinking about what's next. What am I going to do next? What's my next plan of action? And so, you know, diving into week 3, the meal plan changes a little bit more. So make sure you take time this weekend to get that meal plan made, because that will help us all nutritionally. Write it down. It's the start of our food journal. And then as you move through week 3, start thinking about what happens next Monday, August 14th. Are you jumping into a second round of this? Are you moving on to another program? Because it's the mindset thing. You have to always be looking forward. Take action and be proactive about how you're going to handle your health in the future.
I have been thinking about that because I know that when you don't use your muscles, they start to deteriorate, and it is quite the mindset to think that I'm going to probably have to do this the rest of my life. But man, the benefit I'll receive.
You get to do it the rest of your life.
That's an idea.
There it is. All right, you guys, happy Saturday to you. I'll post this up in the group so you can go back and rewatch. And again, post that picture, 5 things you love about yourself. Have a great day, guys.
Have a good one, guys.
Hey.